Shout, Carolinas. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. We are in the building. Time for Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. Holla Chi-Town, Scream ATL, Shout Carolinas. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. We are in the building.
Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show. I am waiting on my guests to come in now. But in the meantime, guys, I just want to say this. I want to send prayers out to my family. We just lost one of my cousins today. So I want to send prayers out to the Robinson family. And know that love is sent your way. All right, and hugs. And I just want to say this too, also. Um, I was reading this in the Bible, and it said, "But I will restore your health. I will restore you to health and heal your wounds," declares the Lord. That's Jeremiah 30:17. And so during the process of what all the things that we're dealing with, I know that God will heal us. So um just just wanted to send that out to those that might be dealing with the same thing. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't he said he here, but I don't see him. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Hold on, guys. So I'm sorry. But in the meantime, y'all, you all know that how good God can be. So it's just it's just a matter of time through the healing process that we have to go through, and it's unfortunate that we all got to go down that road one day, and but it's all a part of life. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing him. I don't know what happened with. I done lose my. There you go. Hey, Lemont.
How you doing?
I'm good. So,
Good.
guys, yeah. So, guys, we have in the building with us Dr. Lemont Baker Senior. Um, and I'm gonna let him tell you guys a little bit about himself. Um, just something small and to the point, everything. But we thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
So I wanted to first. Um, well, well, you could go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, Lamont.
Well, I'm from Chicago, Ivy Wells, housing projects, born and raised. Um I was a young kid who had some issues,
Okay.
as most young people have issues. I was ranked last in my high school class, 513th. I got recruited in a gang. I was about 13 years old.
Okay.
Then I was
But
going, my life changed
okay.
when I was going to, quite frankly, going to do some juvenile delinquent stuff at the Palmer House. And lo and behold, there was a college fair there. And I met Miss Tempe Hopkins from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and she was a pillar to get me out of the city, change my environment, and my life changed. I've been involved in radio since I've been 18, in the community, mentoring, helping young people for over 45 years, in politics. So my life made a very dramatic change in 2023, July 23rd,
Yeah.
when I had a major catastrophic injury. Uh, had a stroke. Week later, two heart attacks, blood clog in my right leg, went to my lungs. It took my speech and my memory away, paralyzed me entirely on my right side, and I died twice.
Mm.
So,
But I was gonna say, I just wanted you to say something simple of just give them like an introduction about yourself because I'm going to get to those
okay, okay,
questions
okay.
anyway. So I just wanted you to give them like a little introduction, who you are
Right.
today. That's basically it. And I get it. I know it's so easy to get the going on about
Yeah.
life and stuff, but yeah, eventually I was gonna get to those questions
Okay.
anyway.
Okay. All
But
right. Come on with it.
yes. So as you guys know, I'm interviewing today Dr. Lemont Baker Sr. Um, he is also he has a mentoring program right now that he's helping young men out in the community. So he's giving back to his community and beyond the community, and I think that is great. So as he was saying to you guys, he was telling you about what he been through in his life, uh, and how a person changed his life. So during that time period, what was it that really caught your attention that this person said to you that made you change your life?
Well, quite simple. When I came to her table, and by the way, I was walking around with my head down because I knew my grades were bad.
Hmm.
But when I came to her table, she stopped me and she said, "How you doing, young man? You going to go to college?" And I told her my grades are so bad they're like Bloody Mary. So she started laughing, and she said, "I'm gonna help you to get to school." And from there, she got me to Grand Rapids, and from there, I got involved in the church, Bethel Pentecostal Church, Bishop Abney, and the rest is history.
Okay, that's really good. Well, I wanted to say this also. I had a few questions for you. So, how did you get where you are today?
I think that it was sheer determination. I always had in my spirit to make something of myself, but I think that it was the village, family, and friends,
Hmm.
God, and I think it was a mindset to never quit.
Okay. Okay. Now, with that being said, what is your biggest fear and how do you work? How did you work to overcome it?
My biggest fear, oh, that's a good one. Um, the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Because when I left Chicago, and see, when we talk about the projects, it was not just bad things, it was some great things
Hmm.
that came out of there. So let's be clear, because the narrative is always negative. No, 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 no. It
Right.
was some great things. But I remember when I left going to a predominantly white school, the fear of the unknown. I
Okay.
remember the mindset was it was an inferiority complex.
Hmm.
And I believe that came from the systematic systems that we live in, the environments, and the self-doubts that impedes our progress. And so that unknown, that fear was different, but I broke through it eventually.
Okay. Well, good to hear that. Um, and seeing that you have started a mentoring program, you had to have overcome it to help in order for you to help someone else. So, um, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? Right now, TikTok, I am interviewing, and so if you would like to join us on YouTube, Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends.
3 words: a winner,
Hmm.
resilient,
Okay.
and humble.
Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in life, and how did you learn it?
I think the biggest lesson is never quit,
Okay.
to bounce back. Um, all through my life, there has been some ups and downs, some ebbs and flows. And I remember when I was a senior in night school, a
Okay.
teacher gave me a poem called "Don't Quit."
Okay.
And in that poem, one of the phrases says, "Rest if you must, but don't you quit." So those lessons taught me not to quit, even though, and quite frankly, those difficult times, those hard times, those painful times were lessons, dark moments that gave me more strength, made me to grow, and made me see the other side of the mountain.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that that was your motto too. I did see that it said never quit, never forget. So when you say that, why do you say never quit and never forget? Now I could get the no never never I understand the never quit part, but I'm just curious as to why did you say the other
Well, I
part?
think it's very important, number one, that we don't forget where we come from,
Right.
who we are, and those lessons, be it struggles, heartaches, and quite frankly, don't forget your ancestors,
Okay.
the struggles.
Okay.
There's an African saying, Sokofa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that basically is saying, look in the past, learn from the past, your wisdom, and
Mm-hmm.
your resilience. So never quit, never forget who you are and whom you are. God and through your ancestry and your personal personal character.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So now you mentioned this earlier, but I'm gonna ask the question to you anyway.
Hmm.
So, was there a time you messed up and was there a time when you messed up and like you failed at it, and
Sure.
but how did you bounce back? So you know how sometimes people say, "Well, I life just knocked me down and I gave up." Well, how did you bounce back? Because you obviously bounced back. You doing your thing.
Well, I would say in my injury,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
When you look at my life being taken away from me,
Okay.
my health being taken away from me,
Hmm.
some may see that as a failure
Okay.
to whatever means, whatever way they think it. So, in order for me to bounce back, first I had to embrace that I had a disability.
Okay.
That was hard. And as a black man, I had pride, not wanting and allowing people to help me, right?
Hmm.
So I had to dig deep down inside to, and that's where the humbleness comes in at,
Okay.
to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be vulnerable, to ask God for help, to ask family and friends, and rely on your internal strength to
Okay.
bounce back.
So what's one thing you're excited about today?
Life,
Yeah.
life,
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
That's it, that's all. To see another day, to help somebody,
Hmm.
to give young people, black people, uh, inspiration.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. If you could instantly master one skill, what would it be? Thank you, Steve.
Mm. One skill.
Hmm.
Well, I'm trying to see, uh, in, in all due respect, huh, I mastered the main things.
Hmm.
And I think one of the main things is my mind.
Okay. Now, when you say
Um,
your mind, why do you say your mind?
the scripture says, whatsoever man thinketh or woman, so is he.
Okay.
If you do not master your thoughts, your mind, you do not master your reality,
Mhm.
your dreams, your goals. It all starts with a vision in your mind first, and then it manifests,
Do something bigger.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, the mental,
Okay. That's good. Um.
and it's not
Okay.
easy.
No, no, it's not. It's not. Um. If you could live in any time period in history, which would you choose and why?
I would like to go into civil rights.
Hmm. You sound like you could be one of the civil rights
Oh
leaders.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You
Yeah.
know, uh, I am 65 years old.
Okay.
I was born 1959.
Okay.
So I've seen and heard some of the struggles. In fact,
You dealt
me
with.
and a friend of mine, we was talking about we are age-wise the last of the post-civil rights. But I would have loved to have been in the midst of it
Mm-hmm.
in the 40s, in the 50s, when
Okay.
they was getting down. Um, I would be not only one of those brothers that would fight for our freedom, but I would be a strategic brother.
Okay.
Right, right, yeah.
Okay.
What you laughing about?
Because you sound like you could possibly be a leader, of
Oh yeah,
from back then.
oh yeah. Ain't
Yeah.
no secret.
Yeah. um, what's a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Okay, you back? Okay,
Did you hear me? Did you hear the
I,
question? It
I
said,
didn't hear the
"What's
question. No,
okay?
can you
What?
repeat it, please?
Uh-huh, sure. What's a fun fact about you that most people don't know?"
I'm a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm funny
Okay.
and I can dance.
Now that I would like to see.
Yeah. Uh, I got a unique way of dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, I got rhythm. So in fact, my mother, Jewel Baker, she was one of the first blacks to win a dance contest on American Bandstand. So it's in the DNA, baby.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna say, um, to the people that a lot of you guys do not know this fun factor um about me. This man here, Dr. Lamont Baker, was the first. Well, he was the second person that interviewed myself and my daughter for our books.
No way.
Yes,
Oh
our first.
wow.
Yep, our first. You was our second interview that we had done when we first started out on our book journey.
I remember that.
Hmm.
I remember that. That was through the relationship with my cousin Crystal.
Yep, sure was. Yep,
Wow.
yep. So that was like the second interview we had done. We had we was green. We didn't really we
Y'all
didn't
did
really know
good. Y'all
nothing about.
did good, man.
I know you told us that we did good, but we were so nervous. But yeah, you was our second interview that we had done.
You, you you guys were so authentic. and so real. And it was really, really special.
Thank you.
It was really special. Yeah.
Hmm. So tell people about the radio station that you on.
Oh, so um, I'm on every Friday night on WBGX 1570 AM and 95.9 FM. Uh, you can download the TuneIn app and you can stream it on WW Gospel 1570 AM. It's a it's called Street Talk with Dr. Lemont Baker. It's a I like I coined it as a smorgasbord of urban content.
Okay.
Uh, we we talk about issues that's relevant, facts. I have guests. We do sports, politics, entertainment, and real things that inspire our people. In fact, uh, I say it's the black culture, black excellence, black brilliance, black greatness, and struggle of our people, keeping it real, raw, and relevant. And
Okay.
again, that's Friday nights at 6 p.m.
Okay. Now why did you name it Street Talk?
Well, I didn't name it.
Okay.
The history of Street Talk came when I was at WKKC, Kennedy King College in Chicago.
Okay.
I was a security officer, and the director, Dana Starks, and I'm trying to think of her name. Uh, it'll come to me. But he was putting together a community-based radio show and asked me, and I told him I had experience in radio. I'll
Okay.
just come on and, volunteer and help him. So I co-host this show with him. But Street Talk, the name Street Talk came from Dana Stark Sharkey. That's her name, Sharkey. Came from Dana Stark and Sharkey, and I was a co-pilot until they left, and I carried the show on.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, how did you develop the skill of speaking so engagingly in front of groups?
Third grade, I was chosen at Doolittle Elementary School to be the speaker uh, in the assembly for I Have a Dream. And I
Oh,
gave Dr. King's speech.
okay.
That matriculated when I was in eighth grade. I became president of student council of the school.
Okay.
And from there, uh, leadership roles in the church, uh, volunteering and speaking in the schools, in the streets. So over years, I began to develop my craft, feel more comfortable, and quite frankly, uh, I came into my own. So yeah, that's how I started. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. Um, if you could visit any place in the world right now, where would it be?
Africa.
Okay, and why Africa?
Uh, that's the motherland.
Okay.
I wanted before I got injured, I was gonna visit Africa, and I am going to go. But uh, I think That's important for us to understand, to see Africa not the way we've been taught. The narrative has always been jungles, all kinds of negative things. And don't get me wrong, there's some good and bad everywhere. But
Yeah.
Africa, there is some beautiful lands and artifacts. And so I just want to go to the motherland, kiss the land, and say, Mama, I'm home now.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that about and that you said Africa because for so many years, they show us all the poor areas of Africa,
Right, right,
but they
right.
never show us the areas where they're actually living better than we are, you
That's
know.
what I'm talking about. The narrative has always been negative.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why that's also a place I would like to visit as well. Um, is Africa.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to go around the lions and stuff.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yeah, I ain't looking to do that little ride in that little thing where I'm exposed to where the lions can actually get me. No, I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
those safari rides. Yeah,
yeah, I ain't too. Yeah, when I seen those, I'm like, oh, and they don't cover nothing. They don't have no glass or
right.
nothing up to them
That
things.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no,
I
you
know
take
that's right.
a chance. Yeah, you take a really big chance because suppose those lions are hungry at that time
that
when you coming through there,
that
and they
part.
decide
Yeah.
here's a meal, here's
And so
our meal for the
you
night.
could you could see them at Brookfield or Lincoln Park Zoo, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Or pictures. I'll stick with the pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Good. Do you have a favorite childhood memory that makes you smile?
Ivy Wells.
Okay. And why do you say that?
Um,
Well,
growing up in Ivy Wells, the housing projects, it's so much love,
okay.
and it developed me.
Okay.
It gave me confidence. It provided leadership. All the things I am today is a direct correlation from Ivy Wells. In fact, every year we have what we call the 39ers picnic.
Okay.
It's a reunion. And the picnic has been going on for over 7 years. Families come here all over the country, back home.
Okay.
And so growing up there brings a smile and joy because it made me who I am now.
Okay. Well, that will put a smile on your face,
Right.
especially when you know where you come from. Because a lot of times, what happens is people forget where they come from, and yeah, it's important to remember where you come from.
Well, some forget and some don't want to be associated with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You dig? They feel ashamed, but Negro, you are, that's your roots. From down south to up north, whether you're in the suburbs, in the project, that's your roots. You never forget where you come from. Yeah. Or you shouldn't forget.
Yeah. Well, the people do it all the time, though.
Right.
If you could have dinner with any historic figure, who would it be?
What's that now?
I said, if you could have dinner with any historic figure, who would it be?
Mm, historical figure.
Mhm.
Other than Jesus. Uh, that's a good one. Just one.
Yeah, one.
Mm, mm. I would say Marcus Garvey.
Okay, and why? He said Marcus Garvey.
I don't know. That's kind of strange for me too. But I heard some of his speeches about 6 months ago, and I knew about what he did, but I think that his mindset, his courage, his vision to rally that many black folks all over the country for that purpose. So I would just like to sit down and ask them what gave him the mindset and the consistency to follow up with it. Yeah, Marcus Garvey.
Okay, Marcus Garvey. Okay. Um, what's the best compliment you ever received?
Uh, my smile.
And so what they say?
uh, that it's very warm, very positive.
Okay.
It brightens up the day, the room. Yeah.
Okay. And tell people about your mentoring program.
Well, the mentoring is a division of my youth program called Dream Cultivation Youth Training Institute, which I started, quite frankly, in Ivy Wells to give young people the vision to not allow the hood to stop them from dreaming and believing in accomplishing their goals.
Okay.
So the mentoring, as I alluded to, I've been mentoring for over 45 years, but as I begin to get stronger from my injury, the desire to really get back to help young people. And so it's called Never Quit Mentoring.
Okay. Never.
It's
You
a
said never quit
never quit mentoring.
mentoring. Okay.
Um, Never Quit Mentoring, quite frankly, is a holistic mentoring program
Okay.
that ministers, help empower, give young people skill sets for life, and to give them the direction and resources. So we meet every month
Okay.
with a group of young people and other brothers that have a heartbeat for young people. In the winter times, like December, January, February, we do an online Zoom meeting, and we meet in person every third Saturday at Northeastern Illinois University, 700 East Oakwood Boulevard at 12 p.m. And all is invited.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
So your mentoring program isn't just for young men, it's for young ladies as well.
No, we are focused on young men right now and young
Okay.
boys from ages 12 years old to 30. And I
Okay.
said 12 because my uncle died last year and he left his son, who was 12. So the village is helping him. And uh, elementary school, teenagers, and young adults. And in fact, I'm going to incorporate a program in that for the disability young people too.
Okay. Wow. Okay. If you if there was one thing that you could say to someone that's trying to uh do something in their life, or they need a little encouragement, what would that one thing be and why?
Never quit.
Okay.
Um, One thing about life, it brings us through different trials, ups and downs. And the one skill is to develop a mindset to never quit. Even though it's rough, even though people don't understand you,
Okay.
believing in yourself. And when you don't believe in yourself, asking God to help my unbelief, but the never quit mentality will see you through time and time again.
Okay. And that is so true. Yeah. If you don't believe, who else gonna believe in you? So you have to believe in yourself. Even if there's one person that's just listening to you, that one person can turn into 1,000 people. 1,000 people can turn into 2,000 people, and before you know it, it's then grew bigger. So it's just your belief and your manifestation.
Can I say something? You said that one person. When I was on radio in Grand Rapids, a young lady called me. She's about to commit suicide,
Oh wow.
and she had her baby with her. And
Oh,
she said,
the
huh?
young lady was about to commit
Yes,
suicide, and
with
she
her
had a
baby.
baby. Oh wow. Sorry to hear that.
And I picked up the phone and she told me it was a song that you played that made me call you. And so as I talked to her, praying and asking her not to do it, she did not do it. She
Thank you.
called me several months later and said, I want to thank you. And so I say that to say, you say that one person. When I'm on radio, television, or whenever I speak, that lesson that day taught me thousands of people may be listening to you, looking at you, but you talk to that one person
Yep.
like we doing now.
Yep.
Because you never know. It's 101.
Yep.
And so I learned that lesson long time ago. I speak to one person. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody asked a question and they wanted to know, have you heard back from any of the young men that are in the mentoring program? Have you heard back from any of them?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was talking to one yesterday, a day before yesterday.
Okay.
Some young people, quite frankly, some of them uh, don't want to come in the group.
Okay.
Some are introverts.
Correct.
Some are gang members, right?
Yeah.
And some are in school. But I was talking with young one the other day as a follow up because he wants a summer job. And we've been talking with him for 6 months about certain other things.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, uh, we're going to help him get a job for the weekend.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Okay. So I know that children. Sometimes young people, it's kind of hard to get to through to them. Um, what do you think that qualifies you to help them?
Whew, what I've been through,
Okay, about your journey.
my journey.
Okay.
And I'm real with them.
Okay.
Young people, they just want you to keep it 100, keep it real.
Correct.
Don't tell them no lies and be dependable.
Yep.
That's it, that's all.
Yep.
And so, my experience uh, in the streets, in school, in work, in relationship, in life, 45 years plus my doctoral degree gives me credibility because people know me. They know my track record. They know my heart. They know I give a damn.
Correct.
So they listen because, and then like I said, I keep it real with them. And I never, I never quit on
Okay.
them.
Okay. Well, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, in life we learn a lot of things. And I was just thinking as you was talking and you was talking about the young men. So I have a book out that's called Little Brothers Hear Me Out.
Mm.
It would be great. I think it would be a great book to add to your program, and maybe we can do some kind of connection with the program.
Uh, uh, I welcome that. In fact, before I came home tonight, it's
Mhm.
funny you said that. I got a library in my house,
Okay.
and I got books on my table.
Okay.
And I was just looking at some of the books that I'm going to use and have used as resources because that's another thing we do. Those young people that are struggling in school reading, uh, we have a safe space, right? In fact, when we do the mentoring, I encourage them to speak
Okay.
poems and books and read. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be a good idea. It'll be a nice little touch. Um, for the young men. It's a
Yeah.
it's a great book. I'm not saying it just because I was the writer
Oh
of
no,
it,
no, you go
but
ahead and say it. No, go ahead and say it. No, no, go ahead and say it.
well, it's a great book, and I think that it will help young men with some of the issues that they are dealing with in our world that we live in today. And I think that the book will be I think it'll be a good study book for something that you guys can actually talk about. I think it would be good for that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So if you want to get some copies of it, just let me know how many copies you think you need and take it from there.
Right
And
on.
I wouldn't mind coming in and speaking either as well. So yeah. I just so I think it's really really important that what you're doing, because just recently one of my friends just lost her son
Mm.
to the street violence of Chicago, and so because of that, I just um, I love to hear about programs that's helping our young men. Maybe your program can reach out to somebody else that may need a little guidance, a little help with what they're dealing with.
When I say holistic, um, we've been doing it for 6 months.
Okay.
So the 6 months now, I'm re-evaluating what we're doing good,
Hmm.
what we need to tweak. And in that conversation, I have friends who are doctors, who are practitioners with grief, trauma, pain, the street stuff,
Yep.
the real stuff,
Yep.
the healing stuff, right?
Hmm.
Uh, where brothers, it's okay to let your pain, your hurt, and your tears flow. In fact, we encourage young men because we've been taught, brainwashed to think that
Men don't cry.
men don't cry.
Yep. That
And
that's
so, what this program is doing, we are reversing the mindset,
Yep.
reversing the culture, resetting the mindset to allow them to be vulnerable and let their emotions and understand their emotions. A lot of them don't know why they're anger,
Yep.
hurt, because some of them have been abused
Yep.
and neglected in their families and in society. And they wonder why they're acting out in school.
Yep.
No, it's you got to understand they have different levels of emotional and mental trauma. Yeah, so I
Yep.
get very passionate and emotional about that. because I've seen young brothers, gang bangers. I remember one time one of the brothers on the street came to me. He said, I need to talk to you, Big Baker. They call me Big Baker, right?
Okay.
He said, man, I'm stressed out, man. And I told him, it's okay to be stretched out. Go behind the corner. I ain't gonna let nobody come in. And young brother, go ahead and cry. Do you know he cried like a baby? And when he got finished, he came, he said, man, I needed that. And I gave him a hug. And again, uh, I speak to that because so many young brothers, young and old,
Yep.
are going through emotional, spiritual trauma.
Yep.
And most of the time, people don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So put a band-aid on it. But no,
Mm-hmm.
no. So this place is a safe space. And there's other organizations that I'm connected with
Okay.
to that's very resourceful,
To help young men out.
help the young brothers out.
That's cool. So, before we close out the show, can you tell people where they can find you? And I also wanted to ask about I seen something on Facebook where you were talking about a scholarship that your program is offering or something.
Well,
You want to talk?
again, that goes with my network.
Okay.
I'm not offering it, but people come to me because I know a lot of people and I network. So I share information,
Okay.
right? So again, I'm a very resourceful person. So I share information. So that's not my program, but uh, it can help.
Okay.
Um, I'm on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram. Uh,
What is your handle on those?
well, never quit Baker on Instagram, Lemont Antoine Baker on Facebook. Now on Facebook, unfortunately, uh, I was talking with my team just the other day. Um, I got so many people on there. We about to open it up, find another way how we can open it up. But the best way people can reach me is 773-299-2836. That's 773.
Wait a minute. Let me get that on the screen. 773.
299
299.
2836.
36. Okay. Now put that on the screen. That's the way you can reach him. If you have any kind of questions or you have a young man that you want to, um,
All that mentoring, yeah.
yeah, yeah, get them into mentoring, get them into a mentoring program. You can reach him at that number there.
And I'm gonna be down there this Saturday.
Okay.
This Saturday at 12 o'clock at Northeastern Illinois University, 700 East Oakwood Boulevard, and just come.
Okay. All right, guys. So before we close the show out, is there anything you would like to say? Um, to the people.
Love God, love yourself, love your family, love life, and love Africa. Never quit and never forget.
Yeah, all right now. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and
Thank you
Friends.
for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. And remember, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So live your life to the fullest. And remember, put God first, and everything else will fall into place. All right, guys, I'm out of here. It's your girl, Laura Simmons. Peace.
Views and opinions expressed in this program are those of our guests and do not necessarily reflect Freedom Productions.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. We are out of the building now, y'all. Peace. Love y'all. See y'all next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Thank you.